love sacrificially. Man, church family, put this in big stars. Verse 8 says, above all things. That's a pretty high priority, right? It's pretty clear. Above all things, have fervent charity. Fervent comes from the same word that Paul uses in Philippians 3:13. It's used a lot of different times in the New Testament. But in Philippians 3:13, Paul says, I reach for, I press for, I strain for. It's the same word that's used here in regard to charity. Fervent charity. Ekteno is the root word. When Peter talks about this fervent love, he's using a word that pictures kind of the taut muscles of an athlete as he or she strains to win the race. That's what it's talking about. In fact, I brought a picture of the 100-meter final in the Paris Olympics. Some of you guys see this? The end of the race where all of the contestants are straining every last muscle to reach the conclusion, to fulfill the task. That's this word, fervent. It's describing a love that stretches and sacrifices for others. In fact, the verse then says that this kind of strenuously maintained love doesn't mean that we don't have conflicts. And sometimes even personality differences, even in the church. It doesn't mean that we don't have weak spots where we struggle a little bit in loving each other. But what it says, isn't it beautiful? Love, this kind of fervent love, it covers a multitude of sins. Wow. That's true in your relationships. But it has to be true in the church. It covers a multitude of differences and challenges. We don't just love those who are like me. I don't just love those who I'm most comfortable with, those who speak my language. No, this strenuous, fervent love means that I love those who are not like me. I'm called to love those who are difficult to love, hard to love. And this is the kind of love that acts. It does something. It's the kind of love that sacrifices its own gain, its own preferences, its own conveniences, its own comfort. That's what the body of Christ is to do and be and act towards each other. We're to love each other fervently, sacrificially. Man, I wish I could talk about this some more, but every week we see this kind of love happening across the breadth of Harvest Ministries. Every Sunday, every day, God's people that are part of this body, the Church of Jesus Christ here at Harvest, an expression here at Harvest, I watch this over and over again. People loving sacrificially, at their own cost, at their own expense, when it's not convenient, when it's not comfortable. Isn't that what genuine love really is? Every week we watch people serve in the nursery. Some of them really, really love it. It's like the highlight of their month. And then some of them know that if they serve there, it allows some moms and dads to be able to sit here in this service without distraction and be able to focus on the word. And so they do it. They serve there in the nursery. We got people right now serving down in children's ministry, both services. It's a long morning, children's ministry. And they do it because they love kids, and God's at work down in C2C in children's ministry. It's hard to work down there, and you're tired. It's not comfortable. I'd much rather be up here with sitting and listening and learning together, but people are serving. Did you know that every week we have people, we have a number of moms and dads with kids with autism. Every single week we have people who have volunteered to say, I will sit with, individually, along with our children's ministry, I will sit with somebody's child so that they would be able to be in the service, listening to God. That mom, that dad is with that child and loving that child deeply and sacrificially all week, hour after hour. But on Sunday mornings, they're able to come because somebody's caring for that child right now in order that people could be in here to listen. That's beautiful. That's sacrificial love. Every week, literally every day, we have people serving over in Harvest House for vulnerable kids and families that have needs. And they're doing it all hours of the day and night, sacrificially, when it's not convenient to their family. Every week, meals are brought, repairs of the house are made. Yard work is done for people that struggle to do it. There's counseling that happens and discipling that happens, and it happens late night and Saturdays and Sundays when people are off work and they're busy and they still have to mow their own lawn. Just week after week, people are serving sacrificially, inconveniently. This is fervent love. Peter is saying that when you live in the times when the end of all things is at hand, and when you're going to be surrounded by a world that doesn't appreciate you, and there's still a great mission to be accomplished, the only way that that mission will take place is if each one of us bands together in fervent love. And we strain, and we stretch, and we sacrifice for each other. And when that happens, when you serve somebody sacrificially at your own cost, when it's inconvenient for you, what happens, and I've said this a lot of times, sacrifices move people. When you step into their life in a time that's at your cost, not convenient for you, they say, why would they do that for me? Why would they stop what they're doing? Would that happen kind of in the middle of that family time? How are they going to do that? Well, they do that because love gives in this kind of way, and it costs. And if you aren't willing to love in that way, then do we really love? Love sacrificially